All right, let's dive right in. Today, we're unlocking the 5 foundational principles that every single professional needs to know for mammal care. And look, this isn't just about textbook theory. This is about what works in the real world for your success and, most importantly, for the animal's welfare. So let's get into it. Okay, picture this. It's your first day. You're standing in front of a brand new enclosure, you've got the keys in your hand, and a new primate has just arrived. What you do in that next moment, your very first move, is going to set the tone for that animal's entire experience. It can feel like a lot of pressure, right? But the pros, they know exactly where to begin. And that's because their success isn't built on luck or guesswork. It's built on a solid, reliable foundation of 5 key principles. Mastering these isn't just about passing a test. It's about being competent, confident, and truly effective from the moment you walk through that door. So here's our game plan for today. We're going to walk through what I like to call the professional's toolkit. First, know your mammal. Second, read the behavior. Third, handle with care. Fourth, master the diet. And fifth, create their world. Let's start at the top. All right, principle number 1, know your mammal. Now, this might sound ridiculously obvious, but trust me, it is the bedrock that everything else is built on. Before you do anything else, you have to know exactly what kind of animal you're working with. And that starts with taxonomy, the science of classification. Now, don't let the word scare you off. This isn't just some dusty academic exercise. Knowing an animal's taxonomic group is like getting its instruction manual written by nature itself. It tells you everything: its anatomy, its natural habitat, key features, all clues that tell you how to care for it. And you've got to be versatile. To be a professional in this field, you're expected to be proficient with at least 3 different mammal groups. Think about it. The needs of a carnivore, like a lion, are worlds away from an ungulate, like a giraffe. You have to know the difference inside and out. And here's why this is so critical. This quote from the source material says it all. Getting the identification wrong has a massive domino effect. It messes with the diet, the housing, how you handle the animal, its enrichment, literally everything. If you get that first step wrong, every step that follows is at risk of being wrong too. So that leads us perfectly into our second principle: read the behavior. Once you know what the animal is, you need to learn its language. You have to become an expert observer, someone who can really understand what that animal is communicating. Just take a look here. The signs can be subtle. Is the animal just chilling out, resting normally? Or is it pacing back and forth, showing defensive gestures? Being able to spot the difference between a comfort signal and a stress signal is probably the most important diagnostic tool you have. Now, professionals don't just rely on a gut feeling. We use structured tools, like the 5 domains model. The easiest way to think of it is as a complete welfare checklist. It makes sure you're looking at everything: nutrition, environment, health, behavior, and even the animal's mental state. It's a systematic way to check in and see how they're really doing. And this quote just hits the nail on the head. In any care setting, you are that animal's first line of observation. You're the one who sees them day in and day out. You're the first person who's going to notice if something's a little bit off. And catching things early can make all the difference. Okay, on to principle number 3, handle with care. This is where we get hands-on, and it's all about one thing: making sure both the animal and you stay safe. And there's a very clear, non-negotiable process for this. First, you identify the potential hazards. We're talking everything from bites and scratches to diseases. Second, you pick out the right personal protective equipment, or PPE. Third, you put risk controls in place. And only then, as a final step, do you use low-stress techniques to actually handle the animal. The stakes here are incredibly high, and I'm not exaggerating. Mammals can cause serious injuries, and the risk of what we call zoonotic pathogens, that's diseases that can pass from animals to us, is very, very real. So following procedure and using your PPE correctly, it's not optional. It's absolutely essential for your health. Which brings us to our 4th principle: master the diet. You've heard the saying, you are what you eat, right? Well, that's doubly true for animals in our care. Nutrition is a science, and you have to be precise. This table really shows you why. A carnivore has a simple stomach, built to process protein. An ungulate, on the other hand, has this complex, multi-chambered stomach designed specifically for plant fiber. Their internal plumbing is completely different. You just can't feed them the same things and expect them to thrive. So the bottom line is this: Mistakes in feeding cause a direct and preventable harm. Getting the diet right, the feeding frequency right, and the quantity right, that is a fundamental responsibility. It's one of the most direct ways you impact an animal's health every single day. And that brings us to our fifth and final principle: create their world. This is the one that pulls everything else together. It covers the animal's physical space, its mental stimulation, and all the crucial records that document its care. A huge part of their world is enrichment, and as you can see here, it's not just about throwing a toy in the enclosure. It's a whole strategy. You've got food-based enrichment like puzzle feeders, physical stuff like climbing structures, social housing. It's all designed to encourage them to use their minds and bodies and express their natural behaviors. And let me be crystal clear on this point. Providing the right housing and enrichment isn't just a nice-to-have, it is a legal and ethical obligation. It's required by law, and the records you keep are the proof that you're meeting those high standards of care. So, there you have it, 5 principles. Know the animal, read its behavior, handle it with care, master its diet, and create its world. But when you put them all together, they're not just 5 separate rules. They form a single professional mindset, a holistic way of approaching animal care. You now have the foundational toolkit. The knowledge is officially in your hands. So the only real question left is, when that new primate arrives and you're standing at the door, which one of these principles are you going to put into practice first?